You enjoying it? Yes. Hey guys, it's Mami De Cinco. Trying to get the perfect angle for you guys to see, where you can see me and baby. There we go. Not as good lighting, but whatever. So we are at Cascade Park for our afternoon walk and Mommy's opportunity to work out. And I just figured I would take the time to discuss postpartum fitness and some of the things that I knew I was not prepared for concerning body image. Can I see? Can I see? No? So I didn't consider myself to be overly active, but I would say I was pretty active. I would go to the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week, and I would take yoga at least 2 to 3 times a week, and I was also coaching track, and sometimes with coaching my girls and boys, I would do the same workouts that they were doing just to keep in shape. And as I got bigger, I realized and I did all this while I was pregnant with little Robert, or AKA Cinco. And I realized that the further I got into pregnancy, it became a little bit more difficult for me to keep that type of rigor up. So at most, or at least I would make sure that after I finished coaching, I would try and walk, at least 800 to a mile around the track and do some stretching almost every night. I would try and make sure that I went to yoga at least 2 times a week, just to make sure that I was keeping myself as flexible as possible, and in hopes of what every woman hears, snapping back after the baby. It was about maybe a month before it was time for me to have Cinco that I threw my back out because the weight of him was just too much to bear. And at that point, my doctor put me on bed rest, and she basically told me, you don't need to walk unless it is to or from class, to or from the car, to or from the restroom. You can't continue to do the 1.5 to 2 miles that Dad and I were walking leading up into the delivery. And at that point, the weight just seemed to pile on the last month. And despite all of that, I would say I felt beautiful during the time that I was pregnant. It was so amazing for me to watch my body change. I felt, for lack of better words, sexy. And then it's time to deliver baby. And they tell you after you get pregnant, or you read after you deliver the baby, you're still going to have some of that pregnancy weight on you, and you don't think anything of it. After I delivered baby, I was walking around the hospital because they tell you after you have your C-section that you should walk. And there was this guy, and he walks out, and I didn't have the baby because he was in the room with Dad, and he was like, oh my God, you're so big. Mind you, I had just gave birth to the baby maybe 2 days ago. He was like, I bet you're gonna have a very large baby. And I did, because he was 9 pounds, 2.5 ounces. And I looked at him and I was like, well, I actually already had the baby. And he was just like, oh, and walked off. I think in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I gotta get myself together. So they give you an abdominal binder after a C-section, not to help you snap back, but to help you have some control over your abdominal section, because what a lot of people don't know for C-section moms is when they cut you, your brain is essentially disconnected from your abdominal muscles, and they have to be retrained, and everything essentially has to be reintroduced. And it's, for me, so much harder as an exclusively breastfeeding mom, because I don't want to take the route of using any supplements that I haven't seen someone around me personally use and can attest to the fact that they won't mess with my milk production, or make sure that baby doesn't get some hormones inside of him that causes him to have any, malfunction or defects, because he's a pretty healthy baby with me just monitoring my diet and my intake. About a week after having the baby, I got up and got the bright idea to go take a picture to look at how my body had morphed. And I still looked pregnant, but the only difference was it wasn't round, and the skin wasn't as taut. It was almost like somebody had deflated a balloon, and I I felt so ugly. I remember texting Cinco's godfather and his godmom, Olga and Jarvis, and they were just like, you know, put the camera down, just give yourself some time, it'll be okay. But I didn't feel like myself. Not to mention your hormones and everything are all over the place, and you know, you have dad and my mom and her wife telling me, you know, everything's gonna be okay, you're gonna be all right, just give your body some time. And my friend Chelsea, who I always mention at Mommy Wisdom, telling me it's gonna be okay, but you never really feel like it's gonna be okay. You look at your beautiful child and you realize, oh my God, thank you for my body being able to carry this life, but you never feel like yourself. So here I am, one day before little Robert is going to be 5 months postpartum, and I've made a promise to myself to stay away from a scale, because the scale doesn't necessarily tell you what it doesn't confirm that your body is changing. And for me, it caused a lot of stress. Shout out to my line sister Watkins, because we always text each other when we would go to our prenatal appointments, and they would, you know, tell us, you know, you weigh this much, and we just had this whole, you know, like lulled an entire hate for these scales. But here I am, one day before he's to be 5 months, and I look back at the picture that I took the week after I had him and I was finally home from the hospital, and I don't feel 100% okay with where my body is. I don't feel 100% back to who I thought I was. I mean, I wasn't banging, but I felt I looked pretty good when we went on my birthday cruise to Bahamas. My stomach was flat, and people always ask, you know, what are your fitness goals? And I'm just like, stomach on flat, flat, ass on who's that, body on yes, God. But I'm realizing that's going to take some time. I am trying my hardest, considering I am exclusively breastfeeding. Again, I keep mentioning that because I'm learning that that's going to impede me in a number of ways. I tried to go back to boot camp. What was that, like 3 or 4 months postpartum, sometime in November, December, and quickly realized that I couldn't make it through 4 to 5 days of high intensity workouts, because it was causing my milk supply to plummet. I was going from being able to produce 5-ounce bottles to maybe 1.5, maybe 2 ounces. And to me, you got the bottle on your head. Here you go. To me, that weirded me out, because and it deterred me essentially. And I spoke with the trainer who had a baby as well, but wasn't a C-section mom, and she told me that high intensity workouts post baby are not good for moms that are exclusively breastfeeding, because it can cause a decline in your milk. So then at that point, I just completely stopped. I would do some stretching, but I wasn't going back to boot camp. And I'm so sad, because the trainer here in Tallahassee, here you go. And if you are a new, if you are someone that has fitness goals, and you're not a new mom, or you are not breastfeeding and you're not concerned about milk supply, and you are ready to, you know, get those results within a short amount of time span and make some life changes to maintain those results, I'll drop 2 trainers below, John and D over at Be Fast Fitness, that have amazing techniques, but unfortunately I'm not able to reap the benefits from it because of how my body responded to the training. So I took 3 weeks to a month off, and then I sat back and I did some research, and I thought about it, and everything came back saying that breastfeeding has to be a priority, despite the fact that you may want to snap back or bounce back, or at least get back to a place where you feel comfortable, sexy, and confident. And I took some time and realized that I have to be patient with myself. I have to be patient with the same way I have to be patient with our son. And I came up with just taking my time, understanding that no, I'm not going to be able to sprint, I'm not going to be able to do these high intensity workouts, but that doesn't mean that I can't get up and walk, you know, a mile, 2 miles. Hopefully my goal before, you know, the summer is to be walking up to 3 miles without any, you know, cramping or shortness of breath. I can stretch, I can do yoga, be it with the baby or without the baby. And, you know, gonna start incorporating some stairs in there once I feel like I've got my coordination back, because baby did a number on my coordination, and I'm afraid I might fall down some stairs. But that's neither here nor there. So essentially, I want to make sure that if you are a mom that's already, you know, delivered your baby, and whether you're a few days, weeks, months, years postpartum, because as long as you have your little one, you're always going to be postpartum, it's never too late to set some goals for yourself, be it making healthier choices when you're eating, or, you know, saying, you know, I'm going to work out And working out doesn't always have to be, you know, I'm putting on these gloves, I'm picking up these weights. It could be something as simple as you strapping the baby into a stroller, taking baby to a park, and just walking. It gives you time to get out of the house, to get your mind together. Whether you get on YouTube, because that's where I do my yoga right now, because it is a lot to, you know, pack baby up, or make sure that what you're doing is not interfering with your partner's schedule, because dad has to work out too, but he enjoys running. So it's nothing for him to get up and go run 3, 4, 5 miles around the neighborhood and come back. But for me, I feel like I do better in fitness class settings, not Zumba, because that requires too much coordination for me and I feel awkward. But again, neither here nor there. For me, YouTube works better. I find a workout that works for me, and I try my best to imitate that solo. So why I keep mentioning exclusively breastfeeding? I get a lot of offers or suggestions from moms and sometimes non-moms to try different products, be it, you know, a waist trainer. I do have on a version of a waist trainer or a waist cincher, but not completely just to scope and mold, but more so to make sure that I have that abdominal and that back support. Even 5 months postpartum, you still do need that to make sure that your body is, you know, having some support and pushing things back where they go. But I'm offered to use these products, and I'm hesitant to do so because what works for one person may not work for you. The high intensity workout caused my milk to plummet. It may not cause another mom's milk to plummet. So that may be for you, and that's not me knocking or anything, but I just want to make sure I'm sharing that insight. I don't want to try any protein shakes because I don't know how that's going to impact or affect him. I don't want to use anything that may be quote unquote herbal or anything that's quote unquote natural. Just because it's on the bottle doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. So one thing that I try and do to make sure that I'm erring on the side of caution, if I can't pronounce it, or it's not something that I can go into the store and readily buy and consume by itself in exclusion or isolation, chances are I'm probably not going to eagerly put that into my body. Now, as he weans, I'm going to, you know, search out different methods and means to make sure that I'm able to control my weight, because breastfeeding does burn a lot of calories, and I'm thankful. But I know I'm going to have to make some lifestyle choices even after I stop breastfeeding him, so that'll be another phase of transitioning. A lot of people think that breastfeeding causes you to just drop these pounds and you can just eat whatever you want to eat and you're not going to have to worry about it. Sorry, I'm at the park. That's like you hear all these random noises. I'm learning that that's not the case for me. Kudos to those moms who are able to breastfeed and get the weight completely off of them just using that. But don't let that be your only means of postpartum fitness or postpartum recovery to get you back to what you feel like is where you want to be. Are you pooping? And partners. I probably will talk to dad about it when I'm around him again so he can give his input. No matter how much you tell your partner that she's beautiful, no matter how much you tell your partner that she looks good, no matter how much you tell your partner that you know you look sexy, it is her mind that is going to play tricks on her. I don't know if I'll ever feel comfortable enough in my skin like I did prior to baby or while I was pregnant. I don't know where that confidence came from, where I just felt like I was the most, you know, sexiest thing in the world. But no matter how many compliments I get, sometimes I find myself like excusing those away, because you hear so often people telling you, oh, you look good to just have had a baby. I don't want to look good to just have had a baby. I want to look good because I look good. I want to feel confident because, you know, I put in the work and I put in the effort to get there. To moms, take the compliments, whether they be constant or few and far in between. You are enough. You are doing enough. Your progress is your progress, so don't compare yourself to anyone else, because that'll make your journey that much longer. Put your head down and just grind it out, because there are going to be some days where you don't want to get up out of the bed and you don't want to work out. Okay, so on those days, make healthier eating choices. There are going to be days where you don't want to finish your workout and you just, you know, you're extremely tired and you're exhausted. And that's okay. At least you tried. Get back up and come at it again the next day. And another thing, pray. Pray, meditate, whatever it is that you do to have your inner peace or to center yourself or whoever it is that you pray to or the universe. Pray to make sure that those feelings of having lack of self-confidence or not being completely satisfied with who you are as a person as you're going through the postpartum process don't consume you. If you were a body lifter prior to this and all of a sudden your body's not responding like it did before, that's okay. I have to tell myself more than once a day, and sometimes more than once in an hour. Like if I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see a mom that's already, you know, completed her journey and she's the same amount of time that I am postpartum, and you know, her abs are already back and she's already out on the beach and, you know, quote unquote, that Tiana Taylor syndrome, because she looks amazing after she delivered her baby. That's not your journey. That's not your space. You're not going to have the same results that these women have. But if you allow it to, it'll consume you and put you in a very dark place. And because you're chemically and hormonally imbalanced post-baby, that's a very, very dangerous time for you to allow yourself to fall victim to comparing. Remember that people only show you what they want you to see. Same thing with myself. Like Adele and Beyonce just spoke on motherhood being this difficult thing in this period of transition recently on the I think it was the Golden Globes. Was it? No, it was the Oscars. Was that Oscars? No, Grammys. They just spoke about transitioning and motherhood and how people view it as, you know, this beautiful thing, but they don't talk about the days where you're sitting in the room crying. The week after I had him, my mom was there to visit and I was just in tears because in my head everything was not going the way that I wanted it to go. I didn't feel as happy as I thought I should be feeling. I felt like everybody around me wasn't as happy as I thought they should be, and came to realize very quickly that that is part of the postpartum process. And there's a difference between postpartum blues and postpartum depression, and it's very important that you have people around you that are going to support you and look for those warning signs and try and help you get yourself back on track. So that's that. Being very, very vigilant to make sure that you don't allow yourself to fall victim to postpartum depression or baby blues. You're probably gonna feel like Solange after you have that baby. You're gonna try and like cranes in the sky. You're gonna try and drink it away. You're gonna try and move it away. You're gonna try and dance it away. You're gonna tell everybody around you that's had a baby you don't know what you're talking about, just so you can feel better about yourself. But it's just all about time. It's to everything there is a season, and I think that the universe provides you with the almonds that you need. You'll have people that'll text you just in the nick of time to tell you, you know, hey, you look beautiful today, or it's gonna be okay. A lot of the time you're looking for somebody to mentally or emotionally save you or spiritually provide you some kind of support, and know that that's okay and that's normal. Recently I started to enjoy the journey of postpartum because I'm getting to a place where I feel I can see some transitioning in my body and in my mental capacity, and that feels good. But I understand that there are going to be days where it does feel dark, and I try my hardest to make sure that I communicate that to Rob, or I take the time to pray and meditate to reset constantly, or reach out to those people around me that I know that are going to provide me with the type of support, be it physically, emotionally, or spiritually, or mentally, that I need. Postpartum fitness, postpartum journey, not always going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Remember, it's your season. And as I always say, you got your beautiful baby out of it, so If it took you however long to conceive your little one, took you 10 months to carry and to cultivate life. For myself, it took me 33 hours of labor and emergency C-section to get him here. The least you can do is give yourself the time it took you to birth that life, to get yourself back to where you feel like you need to be. And don't be in a rush. You don't want to spend so much time focused on your snapback that you snap back and realize you've missed your guide, your baby actually hitting all of these milestones. So yeah, whether you're trying to conceive, oh, that's another thing. If you know for a fact that you're going to be trying to conceive a little one, or you know you want to be pregnant, go ahead and start a fitness routine now, so that it's not something that you're deviating from. I know a mom who's currently pregnant and she's still keeping up her CrossFit routine. Yes, there are plenty of women that you can follow on Instagram, YouTube, that are pregnant, that document their journey. Yes, maintaining their fitness regimen or their routine. Make sure you start eating right now, so that whatever weight you're gaining while you are pregnant is going to be healthy weight, and it's going to, you know, go to the baby. They tell you that you're only to gain between 25 and 50 pounds based on where you are in BMI. And a lot of times you can't control that. Your body does what it wants to do, but you can make healthy choices to make sure that the weight that you're putting on is going to be healthy weight. Here you go. Yeah. So yeah, guys, again, this is Mama De Cinco, and I want to thank you guys for taking the time to tune in to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to drop them below. Make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good job, Papa.